of the joys of growing up in the 80s was being left to our own devices. Now, this could mean a lot of things, but in my house, it meant that the TV had been turned off for the foreseeable future. The house was completely tidy, all the laundry done, all put away. If it was during the school year, homework was either done or dwelling in the procrastination station. But for the point of this exercise, let's say it's summer, but a rainy day, so no riding bike to the playground, the pool, or a friend's house. Just an entire day filled with nothing. On a day like that, if I would complain to my mom that I was bored, she would reply, "You know what they say about people who are bored? It means they're boring." Well, I didn't like that response because it didn't do anything to help with my boredom. I do have to admit, my boredom eventually detoured into daydreaming, and that inevitably sparked some sort of creative project, usually writing or craft related. But it took a little bit of being bored, that slowing down of time and outside stimulus for me to get there. Probably the most tragic irony of adulthood is that when I look back on those afternoons, I don't recall the dreaded boredom I would whine to my mother about. I tend to wax philosophically about the freedom I had. I think a lot of us would like to recapture that feeling, to be able to let go of our imposing lists of responsibilities and demands. But we're just so busy. Life has turned into this always-on production, especially with the rise and prevalence of social media. And of course, we tend to equate productivity with success, which, without a break or downtime, is a recipe for anxiety, stress, and eventually burnout if we're not careful. I'm always game to learn about new ways to manage anxiety and stress, and of course, pass on what I learn here on the show. So when I came across the concept of Niksen, I knew it needed its own episode. Niksen, spelled Niksen, has been called the Dutch art of doing nothing. Absolutely nothing. Stress and burnout can be caused by this feeling that we need to be productive at all times. We tend to overschedule ourselves to fill our time, but then we become stressed by the amount of work we need to achieve in that time frame. It can look like taking a vacation day to relax, but then feeling guilty if we don't get something done, like catching up on cleaning or doing those other tasks we've been putting off. Niksen is a method to combat the mindset of busyness that causes anxiety and stress. It gives us permission to do nothing. In those moments of doing nothing and letting our minds wander, there are some health benefits to be had, some of them very similar to prayer and meditation. Practicing Niksen can reduce cortisol levels, which in turn cuts down on feelings of anxiety and stress. It can help give you a greater sense of calmness and peace. All of those things are great for our mental health. And additionally, as I mentioned earlier, letting your mind wander can lead to creativity and innovative solutions. So, how do we practice Niksen? The art of doing nothing. It can be as simple as being still for a few moments, watching the sunrise or the sunset, people watching, walking in nature, daydreaming, staring out the window, even just sitting in a park. The idea is to be present in the moment. Nothing planned. No need to be productive. No goals, no achievement, no agenda, literally nothing. Unlike meditation, where you try to focus on a specific thought, the idea here is to let your mind wander. It's a means of slowing down and letting your thoughts go where they go. experts recommend starting out slow and building your way up to larger time intervals, similar to meditation or breathing exercises. In fact, Calm, one of the leading providers of guided meditation services, has a website for those just starting out with Niksen. It's located at donothingfor2minutes.com, and the page features a sunset view complete with a 2-minute countdown timer. If you touch the mouse or keyboard, the timer resets. It's a great option for practicing Niksen at your desk within appropriate work constraints. Much like other relaxation and stress control methods, Niksen does get easier the more often you do it, and you should be able to eventually elongate your sessions. I did come across a few Niksen apps in my research, but I find myself hesitant to use those because it's so easy for me to get distracted when on my phone. I have a habit of finding myself checking work email or perusing headlines for the Friday 5 episode when I am supposed to be taking a break. If that's you as well, maybe start out with the website and see if that's a good option. If not, try setting a timer and placing your phone face down on the table or put it in your pocket to remove the temptation. That usually works for me. We will have the links to the Calm website, a selection of apps, and more information in our episode notes, so be sure to check those out. Here at the Agent Survival Guide podcast, we aim to give tips on how to survive not only in the insurance industry, but also this wonderful world we live in. And we hope you find episodes like this one helpful. Give Niksen a try as you take on the challenges of this week. And if you like what you heard here today, follow along with us so you don't miss out on any of our future episodes. The Agent Survival Guide podcast is a production of Ritter Insurance Marketing, an Integrity company. This episode was written and produced by me, Sarah Ruppel. Script editing by Tina Lamoureux. Podcast design by Urban Rivera. Artwork by Vivian Zhao. Follow along with our show wherever you like to listen. Rate and review our show on Apple or Spotify.